Over the past 30 years, Taiwan's healthcare system has improved in leaps and bounds. Taiwan began by looking abroad, studying the methods used in other countries, and selecting the best ways to care for the people of one of Asia's emerging tiger economies. Today, other nations now look to Taiwan for assistance in upgrading their own healthcare infrastructure. Malaria killed 438,000 people in 2015. But one 90-year-old man could hold the key to eradicating the disease for good.
这个滋生源啊，对他们来说是一大威胁啊。
Without proper equipment, skilled surgeons, and sometimes even electricity, surgery can go from life-saving to deadly.
病人能够配合，那我绝对能够把它完成。
He's the man people turn to when all appears to be lost. One of the world's top surgeons, teaching the next generation how to perform minor miracles.
这是没有回头路的，你一定要确定你接的血管会通，不然病人马上引起中风。
The Taiwanese innovation that could save the lives of millions of children.
它也是一个非常困难的疾病，因为台湾在整个国际上算是世界第2高的发生率。
This is the concept of so-called train the trainer. We are able to spread the knowledge and the skill to a more wider area.
They want to go to this developing country to help them. To me, they are really heroes.
They are Taiwan's medical elite. Malaria is one of the world's deadliest infectious diseases. In severe cases, it can develop into cerebral malaria, causing death within days or even hours. Worldwide, an estimated 3.2 billion people are at risk of contracting malaria. The main battleground, however, is Africa, home to 88% of malaria cases and 90% of its deaths. 12,000 kilometers from Taiwan sits the small West African island nation of Sao Tome and Principe, a country that knows the scourge of malaria all too well.
Sem dúvida, o paludismo era a primeira causa de morbilidade e de mortalidade ao nível nacional. Afetava, como já tive ocasião de dizer, sobretudo as crianças menores de 5 anos e as mulheres grávidas. Nós tínhamos uma incidência que rondava os 411 casos por 1.000 habitantes.
Decades ago, malaria was a dreaded disease in Taiwan as well. But thanks to a nationwide spraying campaign, the rate of infection was reduced to below 1% by the late 1950s.
We still have very outstanding experts, and they not only practice in Taiwan, they also help other countries in the world.
Whether you are contributing to the life directly to fight the disease, or you are helping to develop the system, it's both a way of foreign aid.
Dr. Lien Yu-Ching was one of the experts who helped rid Taiwan of malaria in the 1950s. Since 2003, he has been assisting the people of Sao Tome in doing the same through a project backed by Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
这个道路上或是道路的旁边呐，这个轮胎碾过的地方啊，常常会积水，尤其是雨季的时候啊，凹陷的地方积水啊，都是冈比亚疟蚊最好的滋生源。
Dr. Lien, now in his 90s, is looking for the species of mosquito that predominantly spreads malaria in sub-Saharan Africa.
你看这个地方啊，头黑的，胸部有一点白，那么停在这个草啊，这个到处都是啊。这个滋生源啊，靠近啊，他们住的地方啊很近，所以对他们来说是一大威胁啊。
Within those species, only the female can transmit the malaria virus, which is caused by a single-cell parasite called a plasmodium. When a female bites an infected person to obtain the blood she needs to nurture her eggs, she picks up the parasite. The parasites then develop within the mosquito and reproduce. When the mosquito lands on another person and bites again, the parasites are passed into the bloodstream, where they rapidly multiply in the liver and red blood cells of the victim.
Most of the diseases in Taiwan are tropical diseases, including those bacterial diseases or just viral diseases or parasitic diseases. The physicians here are also well familiar with the diseases, so they can help people in Africa.
Dr. Lien's first mission is to deal with larvae in breeding sites, from stagnant ponds to puddle. His secret weapon is a bacterial biological control agent commonly known as BTI. While fatal to mosquitoes, it poses no risk to other forms of life.
因为它是浮在水面，疟蚊的幼虫啊，专吃水面上的东西啊，它是碱性的，所以啊，遇到碱性啊，这个孢子体里面的毒素结晶啊，马上溶出来，就中毒了。我们实验室显示啊，撒下去啊。10分钟全部死光了。
Dealing with the larvae is relatively easy, but fighting the mature mosquitoes presents a much larger challenge. In order to win the battle, Dr. Lien conducts intensive research on several different species.
这个较开阔哈。
Much of this research into the habits of the Anopheles gambiae must be done at night, when Dr. Lien uses himself as bait to lure the insects into these nylon nets.
那么我们的作业啊，是每一个钟头啊，来采集进去的蚊子，那么做到天亮。
Putting his own body and health at risk, he has found that while some mosquitoes will feed at any time of day, the mosquitoes in Sao Tome are most active from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., a valuable piece of information. With the when established, Dr. Lien moves on to other methods of how he will reduce the mosquito population. Before spraying indoors, however, Dr. Lien's team wages a sunset spraying campaign in the island's dense jungles. Their weapon of choice? Diesel mixed with low-toxicity organic phosphorus compounds. The decision to begin so late in the day is no accident.
黄昏时刻啊，就是它要出来吸血的时间呐，而且没有上升气流啊。 停留在地面的时间2、3个钟头都还蒙蒙的，所以啊，这个方法实际上啊是很好。
So if we know the way to kill the mosquitoes transmitted malaria, if this kind of mosquitoes also transmitted other infectious diseases or parasitic diseases, then of course we can control the diseases through the vector control.
A mass spraying campaign such as this has proven effective at reducing the number of disease-carrying mosquitoes. But Dr. Lien knows that this is only half the battle. To create dramatic, long-lasting change for the people of Sao Tome and Principe, he has to take the fight indoors to where mosquitoes do the most damage. In Sao Tome, a team led by Dr. Lien Yue-Ching is waging jungle and urban warfare against the island's deadliest enemy, the malaria-spreading Anopheles mosquito. The battle against malaria is fought today using organic phosphorus compounds, chemicals that kill mosquitoes while posing no risk to human health. This marks a huge change from the way that Dr. Lien combated the disease in the past.
50 years ago, when Taiwan tried to control the malaria, we used the DDT. It's hazardous to human health. So Dr. Lien has to think of a new way to control this mosquito vector using the modern technology, modern drugs, to do this kind of job.
Nós, a equipa do MEP, já estamos no terreno.
DDT has since been widely banned due to its negative impact on the environment. So Dr. Lien and his team had come up with something else. They came up with alpha-cypermethrin, an insecticide widely used in agriculture. It is the first time it has been used in Sao Tome and Principe. The compound is applied to the walls of homes. Elsewhere, its one application is shown to be effective for up to 400 days. But tests are needed to determine whether it has any effect on Sao Tome's mosquito populations.
我们是用亚灭灵，那我们非常严格的训练1个礼拜，才让他们去推动。应该要保持一定的距离。我们喷出去的是扫把状的，保持1公尺
A luta contra o paludismo no estado do Meio Príncipe iniciou com a intervenção piloto em 2003, onde iniciamos a produção de pulverização, com a formação, graças ao professor Lien, que nos ajudou tanto nessa formação.
The life cycle of a mosquito is just 1 month. So it is critically important to test the effectiveness of the insecticide regularly to determine if the mosquitoes are building up a resistance. Without regular tweaking of the strength of the insecticide, Lien estimates that the bugs could build up an immunity within just 6 or 7 cycles.
这个实验就是要知道它这个残效喷洒打下去的有没有标准有没有足够了如果不足够的话，可能就不会死了。能掉下来呢，都掉下来了，还不错啊。但是这个呢，我们还是要带回去放在纸杯带回去，1天以后再看看有没有再恢复过来，这个很要紧的，比如说这个只是麻醉而已，都又活过来，不是死去的，这个我们也一定要做确定。
The test indicates Dr. Lien's compound could well prove successful. But finding the cause of malaria and eradicating the mosquitoes are just 2 parts of a 3-pronged attack. The third is to conduct regular blood tests on the people of the island. To determine the current state of malaria in Sao Tome, the team pays biannual visits to the local tribes for blood screening.
关于疟疾检验主动筛检，我们每年会在村庄进行2次。那进行的方式主要就是采取当地民众手部的血液。那取了他的血液之后，我们会将它滴在这个快速筛检的试剂上面。那这里有一个洞，我们只要取他的血液滴上去，大概15分钟之内，我们就可以知道它是不是呈现感染的状态。 那这是一个最快的方式。
Though malaria can't be transmitted from person to person, treating infected persons is still of the utmost importance. The Taiwanese medical team on Sao Tome tracks infected patients by taking down GPS coordinates of their homes, so they can be easily found and treated once the testing is complete.
You have to have a good case management program to make sure that the patient swallow the drug before you.
那每一次来追踪的时候，我们都会做他的指尖采血。那这个血液的抹片，我们会带回检验室，那去检验他的血液里面有没有疟原虫。那同时给大家提供他的用药。那我们一直追踪7天、14天、21天，一直到28天，直到他血液里面没有疟原虫为止。
Today, the rate of infection is down to below 1% of the population, with 0 deaths reported. An amazing victory for Dr. Lien, his team, and the people of Sao Tome against this deadly disease.
E estas, mesmo na mobilização social, entre todas essas ações foram realizadas sobre uma certa liderança do professor Lee, que teve papel incontornável na luta contra o paludismo em São Tomé e Príncipe.
With malaria nearly wiped out, the people of Sao Tome are living longer, fuller lives. But there are still the usual medical problems to deal with. Burns, injuries, and eye problems are common, but the medical resources to deal with these afflictions are still sorely lacking. Dr. Zhang Yu Tai is a surgeon and former emergency room chief resident at a prominent Taipei hospital. He's also known as a hero of Taiwan's SARS outbreak of 2003, with his efforts proving vital to the containment of the potentially deadly syndrome. After winning the fight against SARS in his homeland, Dr. Zhang decided to devote himself to improving the medical services of underdeveloped nations. For the past 6 years, he's been the leader of Taiwan's medical team in Sao Tome. A dentist, an internist, and some nursing staff have joined him on his mission. Sao Tome faces some unique challenges in its quest for better public health, not the least of which is the fact that for the entire island, there is but a single hospital, along with only a handful of basic medical clinics with extremely limited resources.
E quanto ao número dos médicos, nós temos 34 médicos. Em São Tomé não existe faculdade de medicina.
And actually, at this time, the world still lack of 3 million surgeons. And because of lack of surgeon and lack of the facility, many people, they die, even from a simple reason.
Echoed by the Lancet Commission on Global Surgery, which stated that 90% of deaths worldwide could be prevented by something as simple as ready access to a surgeon or gynecologist. With a lack of trained surgeons on Sao Tome, the best Dr. Zhang and his team can do for now is deliver basic medicine throughout the island.
交通很不方便，所以我都每2-3个月会来给他们的卫生员一些急救的一些纱布啦，然后应急用，然后还有一些退烧药啦。
Dr. Zhang often visits the remote tribes and villages alone. These places are completely without anything in the way of advanced medical resources.
Emergency. For example, the children or the adult cough very.
All they have are a few nurses trained by Dr. Zhang himself, who can provide only the most basic of medical services.
If somebody have a wound, need to use this to cover and send it to. Okay.
As dire as the medical situation seems, the road conditions are equally daunting. The trip is 4 hours one way, and the roads are plagued with potholes and craters. It's not a question of if something will go wrong, but when.
现在那个轮胎可能是敲到石头吧，爆胎了，这边。常常走这种山路的话，都会发生这种问题啊。
Dr. Zhang Yu Tai is heading a Taiwanese medical team on the small African island of Sao Tome, tasked with bringing more advanced methods of medical treatment to a place still decades behind the pace of modern medicine. In addition to personally delivering basic medical supplies around the island, Dr. Zhang also makes house calls to ensure his patients are getting proper care. In extreme cases, however, he must ask patients to come to him.
If that person needs more complicated treatment, sometimes it's very difficult. So we have to refer them back to where we are because they're from very deep down in the village and so there's no road, no electricity.
This woman has a breast tumor. Dr. Zhang has asked her to come to the capital to have it removed. Along with the usual risks associated with surgery, the facilities Dr. Zhang has to work in provide additional challenges.
这个34岁的女性她因为肿瘤蛮大的，需要全身麻醉比较能够切得下来。医疗资源落后的地方，就要做这个全身麻醉。第一个需要氧气，然后第二个就是麻醉科的医生要配合。 第三个叫他们的那个手术房能够腾出来，侥幸一点就是它是良性，可以很容易拿掉。
Even in the country's largest city, the operating room still lacks the modern medical equipment required for the operation. Dr. Zhang must find a way to perform the surgery safely with what he has on hand.
那时候在播的时候，其实他就有一点痛，所以我就有开始担心，而且3年的很厉害，所以我在播的时候就感觉说，这个到底能不能继续下去？慢慢就是一直播，但是它会很容易出血。那出血就是因为没有电烧，所以只要有出血，我们就花时间在那边慢慢先把它止完血以后，再继续下去。对。所以压力也蛮大的。不过后来他能够配合，这是我比较欣慰的地方。说病人能够配合，那我绝对能够把它完成。
Today, another woman has come to Dr. Zhang, complaining of pain in her elbow and hand. Zhang fears the worst, bone cancer. But his suspected diagnosis is outside his field of specialization. He has no choice but to call on a consultant back in Taiwan. The problem is finding a stable internet connection so the specialist can get a clear look at the condition. Thankfully, a connection is found.
这个当然您摸起来是不是像脂肪瘤那样子，或者是像一个 cyst 啊？
感觉上像个奶泡嘛。
用针先给它做个穿刺，看会不会是hematoma留下来的东西。
因为我们是第一线，如果说有后线的补给、后线的资源的话，其实我们可以做得更好。那这种跨国际的会诊就是网络啊这种，就是说很快速就可以把讯息传回去。你看一下他的手，他握，他没有办法握得很，
没有办法握起来。
对，你现在我压下去，它就会跳起来。
你压那里，它会不会特别痛？
他说会很痛啊。
我在想这个是扳机指啊。
Fortunately, Dr. Zhang and his consultants come to the conclusion that the woman does not have bone cancer, but rather a non-fatal condition known as trigger finger, which he can fix with what he has on hand in Sao Tome. Such conditions would be easily diagnosed with an MRI, but without the necessary equipment, Dr. Zhang must still rely on outside help to treat his patients. Lack of equipment is one problem. The lack of facilities, another major concern. The capital's central hospital boasts the only emergency room in the country. Furthermore, there are many patients awaiting treatment and only one surgeon to treat them. Dr. Zhang wants to train more surgeons and upgrade the hospital's equipment and facilities as soon as possible. At best, training a local surgeon means a wait of 5 to 6 years before they can see their first patient. The challenge is made all the more imposing by the fact that the current level of medical knowledge and equipment on Sao Tome is 40 years behind the developed world, by Dr. Zhang's estimate. In an effort to reverse this trend, Dr. Zhang and his team are helping the hospital build a brand new state-of-the-art operating room, but there's still a long way to go. Oxygen and power supplies are two big challenges, but that's only part of the picture.
I think the trend of the 4&A currently is actually moving toward this direction. It's a more programmatic point of view that emphasizes on capacity building, skill transfer, systemic point of view, and all this.
So you need to check more second.
Dr. Zhang's team also helps to train local nurses to ensure they'll be ready to serve ASAP.
For some rural area or maybe less developed countries, sometimes we need to train them from the very beginning. This is the concept of so-called train the trainer. By doing this, we are able to spread the knowledge and the skill to a more wider area.
Today, Dr. Zhang is going to operate in the brand new OR. His patient has a hernia, a condition that wasn't treatable in Sao Tome prior to the doctor's arrival. Men in Sao Tome are primarily employed in manual labor, making hernias a common injury. Prior to Dr. Zhang's arrival, these men simply had to live with the debilitating pain. Now, thanks to Dr. Zhang, they can be cured by surgery.
O senhor que é de Taiwan que chegou, que veio me ajudar, estava mesmo péssimo. Talvez ia morrendo, não sei o que ia acontecer. Fiquei mesmo mal. E graças ao Senhor, estou normal.
Mercy, courage, and that's wisdom are very important, and we have to thank all these doctors, and they want to go to this developing country to help.
Professor Yong Guan-tu.
It is a great pleasure for me to stand here before you as the president of the World Federation of Neurosurgical Society.
While Dr. Zhang is helping Sao Tome catch up to the world standards of medical care, Dr. Du Yongguang leads a training project in Africa in order to train 100 neurosurgeons in 10 years. As the president of the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, he pushes the boundaries of medical knowledge and surgical intervention. Today, Dr. Du is preparing to perform an especially complex and exceedingly rare brain surgery. 3 Russian neurosurgeons have flown thousands of kilometers to observe the procedure.
I'm chief of neurosurgical department of the Institute of Emergency Care in Moscow. Professor to have the biggest experience in bypass high flow anastomosis in complex aneurysms and skull-based tumors. We decide to visit his operating room and to see this method of operation.
In few cases, we need to do a bypass from here to ACA. So this segment.
While Dr. Du readies himself for the pioneering surgery, Tsai Jinhua prepares himself mentally to walk the road of treatment and recovery ahead, the conclusion of a journey that began with little more than a feeling his sense of sight wasn't what it used to be.
我是半导体的制程工程师，应该是说我一开始发现眼睛就是开始变模糊，到有一天开车的时候看到前面的一台车变成2台车，眼科医师都找不到原因。 所以后来才去照脑部，然后照完脑部之后，才发现说，里面的血管好像比较粗。
The cause of Tsai's decline in vision was the aneurysm pressing on his optic nerve, deep inside his brain. Until being referred to Dr. Du, Tsai says he was left feeling shocked and hopeless by his diagnosis. Since the abnormal arteries occupy both hemispheres of his brain, Dr. Du opted to operate on the left hemisphere first, as performing surgery on both sides in a single procedure was deemed too risky to attempt.
这边是你的右边，在左手边，我们是从正面照。我上次看这个后面这条是 OK 的，可是它跟前面在这一块它并没有相通。这是术前的一个片子，这是你本来的血管，这一条是我新接的血管，它通得非常好，这是在术后。
After the first surgery, Tsai has managed to persevere, encouraged in part by Dr. Du's own determination to see his treatment through successfully.
那几乎每个医生都跟我说，他真的没有看过这个 case， 他也不知道说这该怎么动刀。那直到我遇到杜永光医生，他给我很明确的答案是说，你这个就是要动刀。所以那时候遇到杜永光医师，我就觉得心中的那块石头放下了。
大脑是一个实质的器官，不是一个空腔。 所以这使困难度会增加很多，而且它的构造非常维细，所以你要去区分这个东西。那这个病人问题，它主要是在它的颅底部有不正常的骨大，它会造成它视神经压迫，以及很多转动眼睛神经压迫，所以它视力就慢慢退化。
One day before the operation, Dr. Du has found that the previous bypass procedure performed on Tsai's left hemisphere hasn't held, greatly increasing the risks involved in his second surgery to come.
那条通得很好，那条血管给你接的血管，现在变得不通。你在别的医院，他那个医生可能对你过去这些手术的这个经过不是很清楚，把那条血管给它压住了，他一阵子他就不通。对于星期一要开的刀，就会比较麻烦一点。这不得了。
In spite of the risks, the surgery is on. No matter what, his right hemisphere must be repaired.
因为它在颅底部，那我们手术很难到达这个地方，那危险性很高。我们想要建立一条新的血管到脑部的血流的供应，我们会取病人手上的这个桡动脉，因为它的粗细跟这个里面的血管，还有跟颈部的血管都比较吻合。然后这段的长度大概是20到25公分左右。
doctors from Russia focus on a procedure they aren't familiar with. This kind of surgery usually takes over 10 hours to complete.
So 你开刀的步骤一定要把头皮切开，颅骨锯开。那颅腔是被3层脑膜包住的，所以第一层我们说硬脑膜就要把它切开，就可以露出大脑。有一层无色透明或者有时候显得比较偏白的一层膜，那是我们称为蜘蛛膜。紧贴的脑部上面还有一层膜，我们称为软脑膜。脑部当然不是一个光滑的圆球，它上面有很多皱褶。动物越高等，这个皱褶就越多，所以我们要把这个皱褶打开，才可以到达深部的地方。
Dr. Du must be extremely cautious while performing his incisions in his quest for the right artery. Searching with the aid of a high-powered microscope, he must be careful not to harm the soft and delicate lobe of the brain. If anything goes wrong, it could cause permanent damage. In a Taipei operating room, Dr. Du Yongguang is in the midst of a complex neurosurgical procedure that will change the life of his young patient. The surgery has entered its second critical phase, and Dr. Du's hands move deftly to avoid doing any undue damage to the delicate features of the brain.
In the neurosurgery, they require also the microsurgical skill. This avoids unnecessary damage to the surrounding tissue of the tumor that's going to be excised.
我们要使用双手。我是一个右撇子，为了这个我会特别是训练吃饭我用左手拿筷子，所以我大概有20几年时间，我吃饭都用左手。
Even finding a usable artery for the bypass is a challenge, as size are located at a tricky angle. But with skilled hands, Dr. Du finds the artery he needs. Next, he cuts open Sai's neck, preparing to make the new route for the blood flow to the brain.
从他的外颈动脉接到他脑部的中脑动脉，那我们会经过一段皮下的路程，然后在开颅之后呢，把这个血管做一个吻合的一个手术。
This is the most critical moment of the surgery, and time is of the essence.
最大的风险是我们在脑部里面动脉的吻合的时候呢，我们要暂时阻掉一条大的主要动脉，所以这个有一段缺血的时间，可能半小时、40分钟都不一定。那有些病人可以忍受，有些病人不能忍受，所以那是最大的风险，就是在接血管的当中，因为血流的暂时阻断，那变成脑部的缺血。
In spite of the time constraints, the anastomosis, the surgical connection at both ends of the bypass artery, must be precise.
It's a 009 procedure. If you are not able to connect the vessel, then you are not able to do bypass. This is a very difficult challenge, and it requires microsurgical skill.
我们把一个血管切断，再接一段血管啊，这是没有回头路的。你一定要确定你接的血管会通，不然病人马上引起中风。
After 12 hours, finally, the surgery is complete.
这边后来鼓得很厉害，希望他能够进步。
We saw that he has a very accurate technique in small details, and it was very, very nice to see.
2 days after the operation, Sai is recovering well in the ICU. Dr. Du has come by to check on his patient and take a look at the post-op angiography photos with him.
这是你手上的血管。到目前为止一样没有人生。
In addition to performing some of the most difficult surgeries known to medical science, Dr. Du has devoted himself to the education of younger surgeons, leading hands-on workshops in which he invites other leading neurosurgeons in cutting-edge surgical techniques to perform.
This reflects international recognition of him for his knowledge, for his surgical skill, and particularly his devotion to the education.
Today, surgeons have access to a wealth of information in online medical journals and tutorials. But nothing can replace the real hands-on experience available at Dr. Du's cadaver workshops, where surgeons have a chance to learn, interact, and ask questions.
We show how we do this approach, and they go there and simulate this approach. And in between, they come to see us, they ask questions. So this is for them a very unique opportunity.
The hand-on experience is the most important part for a surgeon. Without hand-on experience, you're not able to do well.
You have to touch it with your fingers to have this coordination between what you see, what your fingers feel, and then to learn this anatomy and the feeling for the tissue. The bone is very hard, the brain tissue is very soft. You have to train also yourself, your fingers, how to work in this very delicate area. And this is the purpose of such training courses.
This Taiwan surgeon has devoted himself to saving lives. But in the operating theater, he can only save one patient at a time. By sharing his knowledge with the world at large, he can contribute to the healing of thousands. But there are other ways to help large numbers of people live healthier lives. Information and simple, effective communication are just as important as a surgeon's skill with a scalpel. Zhang Ming-Ray has had a lot of hospital visits in his young life. His first surgery, due to a condition known as biliary atresia, came just 31 days after he was born.
现在是2岁9个月，从他出生的时候就开始了，还蛮黄的。我带他回去打卡介苗的时候，医生觉得他太黄，就先把他收进去照光。他黄疸有降，可是他说他有一个指数没有降。
Biliary atresia is fatal to newborns. Jaundice is an indicator, but as it turns out, stool color is the key to early detection.
他说：“你再不处理那个便便会退色。”我的脑袋就一想，就是宝宝手册里面的便便卡，我就去拿来翻了。然后看完之后，隔天立马送来台大。
In Taiwan, every newborn has an infant health book with a stool card inside. What many don't know is that this card is actually the invention of a Taiwanese doctor. And Taiwan is the first country in the world to have a stool color screening system. Pediatrician Dr. Zhang Mei-Hui is the doctor behind this unique and life-saving innovation.
我们亚洲人肝病是比较多包括肝炎。后来我有许多的精力都投在这个肝脏学的方面。那我应该算是台湾第一个做腹部超音波的人。新的这门学问就是小儿消化学，那它可以对这个小朋友的胃肠肝胆及营养有一些帮助。
Biliary atresia is congenital, and thus far no clear cause has been found.
它也是一个非常困难的疾病。台湾在整个国际上算是世界第2高的发生率。
Though most outside the medical profession would be hard-pressed to name its purpose, bile is what allows the human body to digest fat properly.
胆汁是在肝细胞制造，流到肝外的这个胆管，再跟这个胆囊聚合，胆囊一收缩，慢慢的胆汁就会排入小肠。
For newborns suffering from biliary atresia, the bile remains trapped in the liver.
胆汁淤积在肝里面，它可以产生肝硬化的现象。以天为单位，2个月之内它就肝硬化了，非常的快速。胆道闭锁的小孩，他的大便里头根本没有胆汁，胆汁的颜色就是绿色的或者黄色的，那一不出去的话呢，它就会变成没有颜色。用大便颜色来判定，准确率可以达到95%以上。
Diagnosing biliary atresia in infants by way of stool color was actually a discovery belonging to a Japanese doctor. The color card, though, is Dr. Zhang's own innovation.
这个是我们从病房收集的2个小朋友的粪便，这个是正常的，这个是
不正常的哈。谢谢你，谢谢你，这个很宝贵的东西我把它收起来。好，因为我过去就已经收集非常非常多的大便的相片，我也可以来做一个这个婴儿大便卡。 我们那时候先做了这张7色的大便卡，其中有个颜色好像一直都没有被人家用到，所以我们后来就改成这个6色大便卡。2009年开始，我们就换成9色大便卡了。如果大便颜色是1号到6号就是不正常，那要赶快就医。
Unless treated, biliary atresia can be fatal in as little as 2 years. Ming Ray is fortunate his mother found out in time, using the stool color card. But that didn't make seeing her infant son endure surgery any easier.
一条生命也不可能就这样放弃掉，我们只能选择性的开刀。对啊，没有别条路给我们选。
应该要在60天以前开刀，成绩会比较好。好，那如果60天以后手术，每慢10天的话呢，它的这个长期存活率就会降低1半。
For those not so lucky as Ming Ray, the only alternative is a liver transplant. That's why Dr. Zhang strongly believes in the importance of educating parents about stool color screening.
我们就气象卫生福利部跟健康署请求帮忙2004年呢，我们就把它放入健康手册里面，全台湾开始实行。那这也就是世界上第一个全国性的这个大便卡筛检的这个系统。
The most important thing to develop a screening tool, I think that sensitivity, specificity is very important. It has to detect children who are affected with the disease, and it will have to rule out patients who were not affected disease.
30天大的时候，小朋友如果来打预防针，那医护人员就要 key in 它的颜色是正常、不正常或者不知道，也是让民众又再做一次教育。
The nationwide screening system has been a profound achievement.
我们这个大便卡算是世界上第一个全国性的。这个大便卡之前的那个时代呢，大概差不多47% 会在60天以前做手术，现在呢就进步到74%。
Now, doctors from other countries have started inquiring about the color cards.
包括像说加拿大、荷兰、瑞士、英国，还有美国、墨西哥、Australia、New Zealand.
Dr. Zhang's simple yet effective innovation has made it easier for medical personnel and parents around the world to read their baby's critical warning signs before it's too late. It's representative of the contributions Taiwan's doctors and scientists are making to improve healthcare globally.
Many centers in Taiwan, they are also capable of providing this kind of training to the world.
Taiwan always tries her best to help on peoples in the world, and not only from the public health point of view, and also from the science, technology, and agriculture, and so forth.
Taiwan has transformed itself over the past few decades, from eradicating malaria to becoming the home of world-class surgery. Now, its leading doctors are sharing their experiences with those in need. Medicine knows no borders, and Taiwan's medical elite are spreading their message around the world.